message at this exact moment. It was the moment that everything began to shift in my life. And if you're willing to give me just a bit of your time, this can be that moment for you too. My friend Jennifer had just sent me this weird image comparing the tree of life I'd always seen with one that looked different. She and I had recently taken a meditation class together and had been learning about the tree of life from our teacher. In case you aren't familiar with the tree of life, let me share a bit about what Jennifer and I learned from our teacher. The tree of life appears in many of the world's religions, philosophical traditions, and mythological stories all over the planet, including ancient Mesopotamia, Iran, China, Europe, Mesoamerica, and North America. It visually shows the connection between every form of creation in existence and is connected to belief in the ability to obtain immortality. This goes far deeper, and I could discuss the tree of life for days, but that isn't the point. So let me share the pic with you that Jennifer sent me, and then I'll share why my mind was so blown by this picture. The most well-known tree of life is the one from the Kabbalah, which is the one our teacher shared with us. It has 10 interconnected nodes, symbolizing 10 different powers that exist in the divine realm. But this other tree of life in the picture has 12 nodes. I called Jennifer immediately and asked her what in the heck this weird tree of life with 12 nodes was. Jennifer said, "I was in a Facebook group I joined to learn more about the tree of life, and someone shared this strange image I just sent you. I didn't know where it came from or what it means, but I thought you might know." I told her I had no idea, but I did think this was really weird, so I started researching to find out more. And what I discovered absolutely blew my mind. Heads up, this rabbit hole goes really deep, so stick with me here for a bit. I promise it will be worth it. And it gets a bit complicated, but just know you don't have to remember all the details of what I'm about to share with you. There will be no pop quiz at the end of this video. I just want you to understand how I came to access the empowering ancient secret wisdom that transformed my life and can also transform yours. I want you to see how I connected the dots between everything in my research as I went down rabbit holes online. So just follow the flow of what I discovered and don't get too hung up on remembering the details. Now let's get back to what I found. Apparently, the Kabbalah, a well-known esoteric school of Jewish mysticism, was created based on another school of esoteric knowledge called Merkaba mysticism. In case you aren't familiar with some of these terms, an esoteric school of mysticism, sometimes called a mystery school, was a school where secret information was shared only with initiates. Initiates were students who had been accepted to join the mystery school and began a step-by-step process to learn this sacred hidden knowledge that was kept away from the masses. And here's where my research began getting weird. I started finding information on something really unusual that you have probably never even heard of. I found a group of people who had done deep research on both Merkaba mysticism and the Kabbalah. And they discovered that during the creation of the Kabbalah, the tree of life was distorted to only have 10 spheres instead of the original 12 that were present in Merkaba mysticism. As I mentioned earlier, the tree of life is an ancient archetype that appears in many ancient religions, symbolizing the connection between every form of creation in existence. And their research states that the removal of these 2 spheres creates a closed energy system that is no longer connected to source. With 12 spheres, there is a full connection to flowing life-generating source energy in harmony with natural law. But with only 10, the tree of life becomes a closed system, completely cut off from source. What this means is that with 12 spheres, energy flows freely between your energy field and the divine. But with only 10, your energy is blocked from connecting to source. How bizarre! Why would they leave this out? I wondered. So I did more research, went down more rabbit holes, and found a lot more instances of information about powerful spiritual knowledge being distorted, watered down, or hidden from humanity. Like all the books that were left out of the Bible. I had never even heard of these books, and I bet you probably haven't either. There are 26 in total. Here are a few. The Protevangelion, the Gospel of the Infancy of Jesus Christ, the Infancy Gospel of Thomas, Wisdom of Solomon, Bel and the Dragon, Book of Enoch, the Gospel of Mary. And there are 20 books mentioned in the current Bible that just aren't in the Bible anywhere. A few of them are the Book of Wars, the Chronicles of David, the Book of Remembrance, the Book of Judgment, the Decree of David, the King of Israel, the Book of Life, the seven-sealed book. They simply don't exist in the Bible at all. What happened to them? Why were they left out? My mind was spinning. So many things I have been told about the Bible simply weren't true. And then I read about the Nag Hammadi Library. In 1945, a farmer in Egypt named Muhammad al-Saman discovered a jar in a cave that contained 13 papyrus documents, including over 50 texts